Recording. We're gonna try this YouTube Live thing. Not YouTube Live. We're just recording.
Uh-oh.
It's alright. So now they can see when you do your dance.
Oh. That's great radio.
Yeah, right? Dancing, that's exactly what you want on the radio. Alright. 5 seconds.
Oops.
Careful. I'll bring us in. Alright, good morning, Rochester. You are listening to Outside the Echo Chamber on Rochester Free Radio, WRFZ 106.3 FM, the Liberty Talk Hour with Kevin Wilson.
And Sean Phelan.
Alright.
Oh no, am I up? I don't hear myself.
Oh, no.
Test. Yeah, I hear myself now. All right.
You good? Alright, good. We want to make sure that all of your wonderful insights are going out over the air.
Oh, yeah, like that needs to be heard.
There you go. So, yeah, we got a typical spring day in Rochester. Nice and rainy. Wet.
Yeah.
That's how it goes.
Well, it's better than snow.
Yeah, that's true.
I mean, it's
Barely.
It's only May. I mean, it could still snow.
It's true.
It's Rochester.
No, that's it. I mean, so it kind of stinks. The Lilac Festival's going on this weekend.
Yeah.
Which is great because the lilacs are actually out in time this year for the Lilac Festival, which feels like that's like a hit or miss thing. But
I drove past the place on Thursday just to kind of scope things out and see how things were progressing and whatnot. But I was kind of surprised they were blooming and they were a bit out, and I thought, for sure, that's one thing. I'm not from Rochester originally. I'm from downstate, and I'm always amazed how the winter just makes everything look so dead and bleak and brown.
Yep.
And in the matter of weeks, everything is just so
right back to life.
Green.
Yeah. You get a nice rainstorm like this, too, everything's going to be super green at the end of it.
My lawn already needed to be cut. It's
Yep.
like, are you kidding? Really? It was like I just shoveled the snow off it.
I love this time of year, and I got out to Highland Park, and I checked out all the lilacs, and that was awesome. My dog loved it. He loved rolling around and trying to pee on the tulips, and, that's his favorite activity.
Nice. Yeah, that's one thing I like. I think there should be more tulips in this town. I think because my neighbor's got some, and I see them popping up here and there.
Do it. Make it happen.
Yeah. No, I see them sometimes I see them on the side of the road too, and I'm like, I planted a tulip out there. Who cares? It's working for them,
Yeah. No, just make it happen.
Beautiful little red flower, just out of nowhere.
Yeah.
Makes me all warm and fuzzy inside.
Do it. Spread the warm and fuzzy, Sean.
Yeah, there's laws against that. But,
all right. You sent me like a dozen topics.
Yeah, a bunch.
For us to
Just,
talk about.
just different things, going on, There's the first of all, the Lilac Festivals, 120th?
Yeah, something like that. Yeah.
Wow.
Oh, it's been going on for a while.
But, apparently they got some safety concerns over there, and they said that if you are under 17, you must be accompanied by a parental unit.
Yes.
You cannot just be with an adult. You have to be with a parental unit.
Is that different from last year?
I guess. I don't know.
Yeah, not just a parent, not just an adult parent. Yeah.
I gotta be honest. I don't go. I don't go to the Lilac Festival. It's kind of turned into a bit of a money grab, and then you've got all the shenanigans going on with the kids outside of the place who do not act.
It's because I know they changed that rule a couple of years ago. It was after I had moved to Rochester, and there were some concerns about safety because basically a bunch of kids got in a fight, and then they had a fight that got brought down the street in my neighborhood. I used to live in the Wedge over on Gregory Street.
That's right.
Yeah, and so there ended up being a fight over by where Colony used to be, over at Alexander and South. So I guess there's a fight down there and a stabbing or something, and they felt that was connected to some fight that started at the Lilac Festival. So it was after that they had started really cracking down. They put up the fencing all around, so now there's controlled entry and exit points. They check all your bags. It's not full TSA yet. They don't make you step into the body scanners, but they do search you a bit.
Yeah, they're saying that there's going to be a larger security presence inside the facility, and more of a police presence. They said they're gonna have police on horse, police on foot. Which, when was the last time you see a cop on foot? You know.
Yeah, they're walking around.
Mm.
It's not like clean sweep.
I only see him walking in and out of donut shops. So.
Of course.
Or walking from their car to violate someone's civil rights. You know. And that's the only times I really see it.
Yeah.
Oh, I'm sorry. Yes, and then there is the collection of fees for the state that they pull you over for. I've seen that. So.
All those things.
Yeah, it's
so
the
all
only
the
times I've seen
positive
them.
interactions.
Yeah, it's only the only times I've ever seen cops on foot. You know.
Yeah. I don't know. I run a neighborhood group, so they come in all the time. They talk about crime in the neighborhood and stuff like that. So there are both good and bad interactions with police officers that I've had, and
I tell you, the last 3 interactions I've had with police have been absolutely devastatingly horrific.
yeah.
And I was the one that was calling the police for something that I saw or whatever I was reporting.
Oh. Yeah. Well.
Had a
Thanks.
vehicle stolen right out of my backyard, right out of my garage. They couldn't believe somebody would steal an old truck. So they didn't feel it was you know, to write a report, even though it had plates and insured and registered and everything. No, they couldn't be bothered with it.
To write a report. That's no. You should definitely push to write a report. Call 311. Write it. Get a report number. I mean, like I wrote a report. Someone threw a can of Axe body spray through my front porch window last year. These kids were trying to light it on fire out in the park, and then someone started yelling at them, so they ran and ditched the evidence in the direction of my house, which meant throwing Axe body spray through my window. But I got a report for that. The stolen vehicle definitely feels like report worthy. That's, I don't know, my 2 cents.
My second to
You
last
should push for it, though.
my second to last police interaction was not so great either. I was landlording the house next door to me and caught somebody trying to break in to go after his ex-girlfriend who had left town because he had just gotten out of jail and on a felony. So he had a knife and he was cutting out the screens trying to get in the house.
Wow.
So I called the cops.
Yeah,
and the cops show up and, well, first of all, I'm talking to one police officer who says he ain't going to do nothing about it because he didn't really commit a crime. I'm like, he tore the screens out. How's that not a crime?
Yeah,
he's coming
property
after,
damage.
He's yelling at the house telling he's going to stab and kill her. How's that not a threat, you know?
Yeah, feels.
And so I got a little hot with the police officer, you know, telling him he's being stupid and, you know, he's being ignorant and lazy and, you know, he just needs to do his job and protect citizens, you know. You know, and the other cop pulls up, and this was a female cop, and she sees me, you know, pretty animated talking to the police officer. She comes up behind me, grabs me, and slams me up against the car and tries to cuff me, as if I'm the one that's the problem. I was like, you've got to be kidding me. Oh, and by the way, they did find the guy.
Oh,
at the end of the street with the knife on him. And you know what they did? He's on parole less than like 24 hours. They gave him a ride home. They gave him a ride home after attempted breaking and entering and going after his ex-girlfriend. They gave him a ride home. Yeah.
Huh.
I don't have much faith in the police officers in this town.
Yeah. Oh, that stinks. Yeah. I know.
Anyway, that digresses. But
Yeah.
hopefully they can keep the peace at the Lilac Festival, and hopefully that will
hopefully it
continue
can,
to be a productive and family-orientated event. I took my daughter a couple of years back, and I think she was like 3, and she wanted to do the hula hoops that everybody was doing. Well, I took her to Giant Panda show.
Oh, nice.
And then ever since I took her to the Giant Panda show, she used to ask me, she used to say, "Father, can we go see the music?" And I'm like, "No, not until you're 16. You will not be seeing any music, at least until you're 16. But no. So
Yeah.
she wants to go to the concert. She wants to go see
Concerts. Oh yeah, well, it's the fun stuff there, and then they have the new park there, which is pretty cool. And
Yeah, I saw that. They built a park. It was
yeah.
a big dirt pile the last time I went past there.
Yeah,
so.
no, it's basically a big pile of logs, but it's pretty cool actually. I walked by, it's
Nice.
actually pretty well done.
Yeah, I
So,
went by and
kudos.
it looked like they did a good job, but I just don't know what they did exactly. But they did a good job of it.
Yeah, no, they made a nice like interactive place. So that was nice. So
Good, as long as I get something for the
kudos
kids
to
to
the
do.
county for doing that.
Yeah, anything to keep the kids active and physical and stuff, I'm good. I'm all good for that, you know.
Yeah.
But and then what else is going on in town here? Oh, Live Tiles, the company, they do artificial intelligence stuff.
Yeah.
They're saying 500 jobs in 5 years at High Falls. Now, if anybody knows High Falls, There isn't 500 parking spots. I have no
Oh,
idea where they're
the-
going to put 500 people in the High Falls.
Well, there's a parking garage there.
Right, I understand
Right,
that,
yeah.
but
Uh,
where's a facility that's going to hold 500 jobs? See, this,
Well, no,
this,
there-
this to me tells me smokescreen, BS. We're going to tell you we're going to get 500 people in here, we're going to get 500 jobs over the next 5 years, and you know, we're going to get all these subsidies, you know, to come in here and do that.
See-
And then we're going to hire 50 people and leave within 5 years.
See, like the last part of what you said, I think that kind of holds true with me a bit, just because, you know, I always worry in situations like this. What ends up happening is that the company will get massive subsidies to move in that area, and frankly, High Falls is kind of known for that. They've done that frequently, and stuff hasn't been able to stick, despite it being a beautiful neighborhood. Like, it really is. Like,
Yeah.
if you go there, like the cobblestone streets, they got the museum,
Mhm.
and obviously the waterfall right there, Genesee Brew House across the Pontevin Bridge.
Mhm.
Like, it should be an awesome area, and like it seems like a lot of stuff can't stick.
I would make like that, like the whole club and restaurant district. I think that would make an amazing club and restaurant district.
Let's gotta say, well, the cities, or the city and I think state have poured just buckets of subsidies into
Mhm.
there.
Mhm.
Like, they really have, and just, but you know, the restaurants don't seem to really stick around, or they're open at odd hours.
Yeah,
I mean, you
that's
got
true.
like the radio station down there and WXXI down there and a couple other businesses, and you know, if they can actually get 500 jobs in that area, that's great.
Right.
See, I'm not as concerned about parking, because I imagine like what's going to happen to the city over time is as we start getting like dense areas where there's a lot of people, there will be more of an incentive to either take mass transit in or ride your bike in, or
Do we need to get your buddy back on? And have
yeah, we'll
a
get
bicycle?
Arian back in. Yeah, no, he's
bicycles?
he'll back me up.
Yeah. You know what? That would be great. You know, I don't know if it's there or not, and I'm talking on my rear end right now, but it'd be a really great place for, you know, more than normal. It would be a really great place to put one of those bicycle stations, because then, you
Yeah.
know, it would make
Yeah, I wonder if
High
there's-
Falls accessible, you know?
I wonder if there's a pace bike station over there. There might be.
Mm.
Yeah, no, because there should be. I used one coming back last week. Last week I rode my bike in,
Mhm.
and I started riding back, and I got like halfway down Main Street, probably over by like close to the bus station, and I hit a piece of glass
Oh, no.
that punctured my tire.
Ooh.
So I was like, well, what am I going to do? I locked it up. There's a pace bike station across the street. I grabbed a pace bike, rode home, got my truck, came back, picked up my bike, and then I went to clean sweep.
Nice.
But no, pace bike saved my butt there, because otherwise that would have been a long,
Walk home.
yeah. And I've had to do it before. I've gotten stuck like at the intersection of Culver and Atlantic going home, and it's like, all right, I gotta walk a mile with this bike with a flat tire now. This stinks.
Mm.
But luckily with the pace bike station right across the street, I was able to lock it up, you know, ride home, and then get over and pick up my bike, and I fixed it. And I did not ride in today because it's cold out and
wet.
I'm being a baby.
No, it's cold and wet, man.
No, I'm totally being a baby about it. I know it. I know, like, some of the diehard cyclists are like, just get rain gear, it's fine.
Yeah.
And I'm like, yeah, but
Yeah, that's what I want.
I'm gonna be
I
cold.
want that strip of mud running right up my back, you know?
Yeah, no, because I thought about taking a pace bike in because they have the mud protectors, and which my bike doesn't have.
Mhm.
But nope, I was like, nope, gonna be. I walked my dog right before I got here. We were soaked. I'm like, nope, this stinks.
It's
It's
really
terrible.
funny when I used to live in Thailand, and when I was there during the rainy season, you know, they always have all these bicycles and all these mopeds, you know, little mini bikes and stuff all over the place for transportation, and yeah, they would take they'd take a leaf off the palm tree, a small leaf, and rubber band it onto the back bumper, and it would act as a splash guard so you wouldn't get
Ah,
ripped up. And I'm like, man, if it falls off, it's biodegradable. This is great.
that's smart.
Yeah, and they just put it right on there, and you know, you get on the back of the bike, and you're not gonna worry about having a skunk spot running up your back by the time
Yeah.
you get to work. You know.
That's always happened to me when I used to ride my bike every day. Yep,
Yeah, that's stupid me. I used to think, oh, I'll go faster and no problem. Yeah, and then ended up the strip would end up on my head, and
Yeah,
it's
no, and
just
it's
faster I go, the
somehow
higher
like
the thing
yeah,
up.
full body strip. Yeah, it's like how the heck did this even happen?
So, if anybody wanted to text in or call us,
Yeah, so if you want to call in or text in, 585-454-9975, and that's 585-454-9975. And I'll make sure I actually open up the texting window, so I totally forgot to do that. It's alright. I was worried about the going on YouTube thing. So
oh yeah,
recording
we're
us,
recording. We're recording live right now.
Well, not live. It won't let me. Apparently, you need to get approved by YouTube 24 hours in advance or something.
Geez.
So that's all right. Whatever.
But yeah, so, but yeah, this is an old topic I wanted to talk about briefly here. Is the city of Deerfield, Illinois. They've outlawed assault rifles, which, funny enough, takes out a bunch of like smaller target rifles too. But the thing is that they're telling them they have to give up their assault rifles by June 13th, which, so we're talking a month away.
Yeah.
And if they don't, they're going to face a gun owner, legal gun owner, will face a $200 to $1,000 a day fine. Wow.
Yeah.
Does that go against the libertarian principles or what?
Well, it goes against American principles. It's they're taking people who are otherwise law-abiding citizens who have firearms that are perfectly legal and can be used safely in situations or for home defense, and they're turning them into criminals. And even for like your normal, like the way they wrote this law, and I don't know like if they ended up changing it since I last looked at the story a couple weeks ago, but like it basically would have outlawed most rifles.
Yeah.
Like not just like your scary AR-15s, but like most rifles.
Yeah. Like even down to the .22 calibers.
Yeah.
Which are just
22.
usually tiny little, target practice guns or
Right.
something you use to
Been
shoot
shooting-
squirrels,
I've been shooting .22 since I was like 7 years old.
Mm.
No,
Yeah,
it's
it's just this, no, we're not trying to take your guns away. Oh,
No.
yeah, give us your guns.
yeah,
What?
exactly.
Yeah.
This is why the people on the right are freaked out and don't want to register their guns.
Mm.
Like, oh look, we're building a registry, so if they do want to confiscate it, they'll have everything here.
I just can't imagine like trying to storm these people's houses and try to take, oh, this person has 20 guns, they have one too many, then we have to go in and take them all now, and what kind of bloodbath is that going to turn into?
Well, yeah, I mean,
Cops are going to refuse to do it.
Yeah, that's what I think. I think it's going to be something that's not very well enforced because what police officer wants to put themselves in a situation where they want to go and take away a gun from an otherwise peaceful citizen? Like you get it. Like there are situations where you got to go in and like if someone's committed a crime or is dangerous. All right. That's one thing, but these are otherwise peaceful citizens, and now you're going to take away their right to self-defense.
They're creating a criminal, so they can go after the criminal, so they can show how the criminal is going to defend himself with all these weapons that they've already deemed unnecessary. That's unnecessary for civilian to have because the police are going to protect you from the police coming after you. It's like such a lapse of logic. It's it's like the drug law. I mean, it's like there's no victim. There's no victim here, and the police say, oh well, we're going to arrest you for those drugs because you're going to ruin your life, and then you get arrested for the drugs and you find out that the cop and the system are going to ruin your life. They're going to throw you in jail for 6 months. They're going to hit you with a felony or whatever, and then next thing you know, you get out and you can't even get a job. Who ruined whose life?
Yeah.
Doing what? And I mean now you got this nonsense going on in Illinois. It's like, when are people going to start realizing that the noose is being tightened ever so slowly, and it's going to get to the point where we're going to go, hey, this noose doesn't feel good. Yeah, well, that's way too late now. It's already on.
Yeah.
You know, the only way to deal with that is get violent, and that's not the way we want this to turn out.
No.
Not at all.
No, it creates a situation where escalation is possible, and that gets really, really dangerous.
I mean, we're trying to be the voice of reason here. We're not trying to be the fringe. We're trying to be the centrist almost. In some respects that, we're not telling you that we're not telling you that you have to pray to Jesus or you're just you need to get out of this country, And we're not telling you that, you have to open your home up to every illegal immigrant that comes into town, But, it's this middle ground that we're shooting for here as libertarians, to be like this voice of reason and stop with the extremists that are running this country and ruining this country, because we're gonna face a time where we either have to do this revolution either through the ballot box or through the end of a rifle. And I don't want to see it go through the rifle. I'd rather see it go through the ballot box.
No.
And people continuously vote for this two-party broken system. The two-party system is just simply going to tighten that noose more and more and more every day, then every opportunity that they can find to do so. And just next thing you know, we're going to wake up and realize, whoa, what world is this? I don't recognize it anymore. Freedom is now a dirty word.
Yeah.
That's just not good.
No, it's dangerous. All right, we'll take a quick break. We're gonna.
What station are we on?
We are on Rochester Free Radio, WRFC 106.3 FM.
That's right.
So we'll take a quick break, and we're gonna hope that I'm playing the song that I think I'm playing. This is musical roulette here. It's
Yeah, forgot the zip drive today. Forgot my music.
Yeah. So trying to play. Yeah, all right. We'll be back in just a minute.
Ride my bicycle. Very good. Well done, sir.
I thought it fit in with a theme.
I knew you were busy doing something.
I was like, this is a very short song.
Yes. The only thing left I've got here is the NRA lawsuit against Cuomo.
Okay.
And the Sharp Hollister campaign picking up. That's all I really...
Yeah. Well, yeah.
There's
We
something
talked about the
you want to
Russian stuff. They released all the memes that they put out.
Oh, they
I want to
have?
talk about that.
Yes,
oh, yeah.
please. Pick it up right after the commercial, right after
Yeah.
the break. Because
So-
that's awesome.
If you guys are watching, if we get this video up to YouTube properly, like, we can't play the music that we're playing out over the air right now because we'll get in trouble.
We don't have the royalties to pay them.
Yeah. So we are playing some Queen Bicycle right now, but Bicycle Race. But yeah, we'll just sit here and bullshit in between.
Well, that's great. Yeah, we get the curse.
Yeah, but we're gonna be back in 15 seconds. So
yeah. Keep
yeah,
it
this
clean.
song,
Keep it clean.
yeah. So keep it clean. I don't want to
potty
have to
mouth.
mash
Yeah.
that dump button.
Keep it clean. Coming from the Long Islander.
Yeah. It just cuts off there.
Really?
All right. Yeah. No. Sure.
Surprise.
Surprise! It's done. You're listening to Outside the Echo Chamber on Rochester Free Radio, WRFZ 106.3 FM.
Libertarians Unite.
Yeah, the Liberty Talk Hour. Yeah. So.
I want to ride my bicycle to the High Falls District.
Yeah.
That's what I'm going to do.
You should do it.
On a sunny day.
Yeah. No. Not today though. No. We'll both of us will be those fair weather cyclists.
All right. So are there sunny days ahead of us politically?
No, probably. No, we got good stuff. But I'm excited for a liberty movement. But one of the things we were talking about over the break is one of the things that came out. Like I think the House Intelligence Committee released all of the ads and posts that were allegedly done by Russian operatives. Did you have a chance to see any of these?
I have not. I wish I had.
Oh,
because I want to see the ones that I thought were ones that may or may not be.
So some are surprising. I'm pretty sure you've shared one before. One of the left ones.
Oh, I
actually.
probably have,
Yeah,
for humor reasons, yeah.
Yeah, well, because I'm pretty sure I've seen some of their content on, like, Occupy Democrats and stuff like that.
Oh,
And and I don't know if, like, they made the meme or they just, like, stole it, which is probably more likely. Like, there's one that has the Hillary Clinton campaign logo and then Stewie from Family Guy, like, with a gun in his mouth.
Yes, that's
Yeah,
fine. I posted that one.
So, yeah, I've
One
seen
of my
that all around.
favorites.
Apparently, that one was a Russian meme. I don't know if it was made by them, though, because some of the ones, like, they're so bad. They're just, like, over the top, goofy, like, patriotic or appeals to religion. Like, there's one where it's like Jesus and Satan, like, fighting, and Satan's like, if Hillary Clinton wins, I win, and Jesus is like, not if I have something to do with it. And then it's like, type amen if you want to stop Hillary Clinton.
Oh,
And I was like, oh man, I think I've seen my aunt share that.
oh. I'm seeing all these memes, and it's so. You know, I'm almost glad that some of the people that make these memes are so illiterate that it makes it so obvious that they're fake. You know, it's, you know, you see gross misspellings or the grammar is just awful, you know, and you know
Yeah.
that's not an American made
No, I mean,
one.
see, some of them are like that. A lot of them are like that, and some of them are stuff that I think people were sharing anyway. Like, they definitely ripped off a bunch of stuff from Cop Block. Like, anytime they could, like, talk about a police officer killing, you know, an African American, they would post it on. They had a page that they ran called Black Matters, and they would post that type of stuff. So they basically rip off Cop Block content, and then they had a page called Being Patriotic, which I know a bunch of my friends liked and shared stuff from. But it would have like, because they would have like Ron Paul quotes on there. They'd talk about like droning people in Afghanistan.
Don't you mess with Ron Paul.
Yeah, no, they're using Ron Paul for Russian propaganda. Yeah. And so some of their stuff, it's stuff that was probably being shared anyway that they appropriated for themselves. So it draws like a strange line. Like, okay, yeah, they were trying to interfere with the election, but were they doing anything that wasn't already happening anyway?
True.
And, you know, I think the sinister part of what they tried to do is they tried to, you know, again, something I think is happening anyway in American politics, they try to play up identity politics. So they'll try to play up black identity politics, black nationalism, white identity politics. They'll do like Muslim pride type of things, and like, so they like play up all these like identity politics stuff, and then share like issues with the U.S. government. And it's interesting because like some of the stuff like they bring are legitimate issues, but also like it's pretty sinister in the regard of, is the Russian government trying to destabilize the American populace? I don't know that I'm as concerned about that as like the left is, but it's sinister, but also like, what do we do about it? It's speech, and who cares?
I want to take it one step back further.
Yeah.
Okay? Let's take a look at the bigger picture. Everybody's so upset the Russians have interfered and they've put propaganda in to get whoever they wanted in. What do you think our government has been doing for over 50 years? This is what we do. We go into countries that are not so friendly and we undermine them, we finance them, and we get them removed from office. And then we put our little puppets in there, and that turns to crap on a stick. It happened in Egypt, it happened in Libya, it's happening in Iraq. It's, you know, every place we go, everything we touch, we haven't learned a damn thing since Vietnam, and yet we're still trying to push this imperialism of the American way of democracy onto others when our house isn't in order, and we're telling other people in other countries, sovereign countries, how to live and how to govern themselves when we can't even get our own act together. That's just hypocrisy, totally. And you know, it's funny that, I don't know if I've mentioned this before, but the most popular movie out in the Middle East is Star Wars.
Yeah.
Do you know why?
Because it's a pretty good movie.
Well, besides it's a good movie, but do you know why?
No, why?
Because they can identify with it. It's a bunch of people living in the sand, rebels, fighting against an over-financed imperial army that has just ridiculous amounts of power, and they're just trying to crush the rebels.
Oh,
and that is why they love the movie so much. Because it's about them.
No, sure.
In
It's-
their eyes. You
No,
know what
no,
I'm saying?
yeah, but well, actually, there is this interesting. I don't remember where the heck it's at, but it's an interesting article. It's like if you look at it from like the Imperials' perspective, is that Luke Skywalker was like basically an individual who was radicalized into a dangerous religion, and then carried out the single most destructive terrorist attack in the Empire's history by destroying the Death Star, where you know likely millions of workers were living, right?
Yeah, millions, yeah, maybe.
Yeah. Well, it's you know that's no moon.
It was no moon, yeah.
No, but so that's it's interesting to look at it from that perspective. Is that's what kind of the arc of the series is that Luke is radicalized into a religion where he believes it's his duty to destroy, the Empire.
Right. Well, actually, if
Suppressing.
you think about it, the Empire is the oppressor, and he's fighting against the oppressive forces.
I mean, yeah, I mean that's pretty on the nose of the movie.
The overly financed, overpowering, intergalactic, imperialistic foreign policy group, of Darth Vader and them, coming down and crushing the hell out of, the tiny rebels living in their little sand community. But I just thought of something.
Sand community, Jesus.
Darth Vader was like killing off his commanders for their incompetence, left and right. And I'm thinking, wow, that's very Trumpish of him. Now that you think about it.
I don't think Trump's killing.
Well, he fires them,
Yeah, he just fired him. Just didn't like him. Or as I'm sure you've seen this meme. It's like Darth Vader. He believes in lifting people up.
Oh.
Seen that as a motivation. Leaders lift people up and put them down.
Oh God.
But all right, so I'm gonna start walking back one step at a
take
time.
me
All
back,
right,
take
so
me
one.
back from that.
So one, I don't like to go down the whataboutism road, and I've talked about this before. Like I like to kind of evaluate each situation on its own merits. Yeah, the United States has done some bad stuff, but in the context of what Russia's doing, are they doing anything that's like sinister in its own right? And I think for the most part, what they did was they engaged in a speech conflict. And what worries me about the direction that the Russian situation has taken, because the Russians did allegedly try to hack some election systems, but they weren't able to do so successfully. So did they actually tamper with the outcome of the election? No, they didn't do that. But did they attempt to influence it with propaganda, exploiting American anxiety? Sure. But at the end of the day, what is that? That's speech. And if we are so worried about speech coming from a government, and worried about suppressing that, I think that worries me, because again, at the end of the day, they're making their own arguments, and we can choose to ignore them. If Americans take up those arguments, those dumb arguments, then that's kind of on us. That's on people who are believing those things. They might have already believed them anyway.
Right. Well, the American people being ridiculously gullible and misinformed when it comes to governmental things, especially foreign policy goes. It doesn't surprise me that people fall for it. But on the other hand, it's a matter of educating yourself and doing the research and figuring these things out. And I mean, this whole situation about any American who starts yelling at about the Russians and how they've influenced the election, to me, all I see, I visualize in my head, all I picture is this person with a cigarette hanging out their mouth saying you shouldn't be smoking.
Yeah.
It's like, wait a minute, you need to look at what you're doing first. If you want to complain about the Russians getting in, meddling with our election system, then we need to take a better look at ourselves, because this is exactly what we've been doing. Can you really sit there, Kevin, and think to yourself that we didn't have any influence in the downfall of the Soviet Union?
That's not what I said.
No, I'm just saying,
No.
though. I mean, we've meddled. That's what we do.
Yeah, no.
We're the
constantly.
grandmasters of it. And now you're upset that somebody did it to us? Get out of here!
No, I think it's totally legitimate to be upset And you're also right. Like, it's also totally inappropriate the level in which the United States government has interfered with elections and governments across the world.
Mm-hmm.
Like, it's happened frequently. But again, at my point is that I'm worried about the consistent erosion of free speech
Mm-hmm.
because we no longer believe that Americans, like, left and right, that Americans are able to engage in free speech and open dialogue without being controlled, or without, on the other end of the spectrum, like talking about like hate speech and things like that. Like, oh, they believe the speech itself is so toxic that Americans aren't able to resist it and it will bring the country down, so we have to put restrictions on speech.
That's ridiculous.
And now, like, it's interesting because what I have to do with Facebook, because I run political ads for people, is that I have to prove my identity to Facebook. I have to send them photos of my driver's license, I have to send them my social security number, and they have to mail something to my house, and I have to send them a confirmation number so I can run political ads now. And then those ads are going to be stored and as public record for like 4 years.
Oh my God.
So
As if that can't be fake.
yeah, I mean, and then this is a private company; they can do what they want. But again, to me, the broader issue is, okay, how are we adapting to these efforts to influence the United States? I mean, because there's Russian propaganda that goes on in the United States all the time. I'm pretty sure I've seen many people share RT or Sputnik or a bunch of other stuff like in their news feeds. That, guys, that's Russian propaganda. That's what it is. It is Pravda. It's and the same thing. You got Radio Free Europe going on. That's American propaganda, which we don't get here. You're not allowed to share the official American CIA propaganda efforts in the United States.
Yeah, that should tell you everything you need to know right there.
Yeah.
If we can't hear what our own government is propagandizing out there, that should tell you lots.
Well, I think the idea is the Congress didn't want the CIA trying to use its propaganda techniques on the American people, which I mean,
they're a little late.
They might be. No, you got the NSA for that, and the FBI. No, it's fine.
Yeah, now we're gonna start sounding like the conspiracy theories.
All right. Now, see, now we're on video, so you can tell that we did leave our foil hats at home.
Yeah. There's no foil hats.
Or I hid it under my actual hat. Yeah. No, but that's what it is, though. It's like we have to, again, and we've talked about this a bunch of times. Like, media literacy is important. Understanding like the content of what you're seeing on Facebook, on news sources, and understanding when it's full of crap is like. That's a skill that everyone needs to learn, and I'm not sure that they're gonna teach you that in school. Like, you need to learn that on your own. You need to like look at something with a skeptical eye. When you see something from RT, know that that's Russian propaganda. They're not gonna look at the Ukraine situation or the Crimea situation from an objective point of view. When you look at something coming from NPR, it is a government radio station, and I listen to NPR all the time, but it's a government radio station, and they tend to lean a bit left. Like, understand that they come from that perspective, and they may be intentionally or not leaving information out that fills in another perspective. And same when you watch Fox News or MSNBC or any of those places, you got to look at what you're listening to, what their point of view is, and understand that may only be part of it.
Exactly.
Yeah.
Exactly. That's intelligent self-education politically. That's the only thing I can call it.
Yeah, and so it doesn't necessarily like make like MSNBC or Fox like in their own right malicious because they come at things from a certain perspective. We come at things from a certain perspective.
Absolutely.
And people can come at us and be like, "Well, no, you left this part out." I'm like, "Oh, well, we'll try to be fair, but we come at things from a certain worldview, and therefore the type of stuff that we look for is going to be a bit different than what some of the other hosts on the station may look for."
Right.
And that's what we're trying to do, is we're trying to bring that new perspective.
Right.
But understanding like that from a media literacy sense is really important, like anywhere you go.
Yeah, knowing the stations that you're listening to and what their political leaning is tremendous. Reading and educating yourself on different points of view is the other. even though Fox News tends to be the most fake news out there,
It's fake news.
it's been tested. I know people are going, oh, no, it's not. CNN is. No, there was actually an independent study done, and only 17% of what Fox News was found to be factually true.
Is it? I
Yeah,
don't know.
17%. Yes.
I
But that's
don't
okay.
comment
But
on that.
CNN was 24, so.
Ooh.
So,
Wow.
yeah, it's a close second. But, knowing the station that you're listening to, their agenda, their political leanings, that's important in being able to mentally digest what you've just listened to. And I think that's a problem that a lot of people have, that they listen to InfoWars with, what's his name, Crazy Nut Job.
Oh, Alex Jones.
Yeah, Alex Jones. And I mean, if you listen to him and you just go, oh, this is American news, that would blow someone's mind hearing all this nonsense coming out of this man's mouth. But if you get if somebody tells you, well, this is Alex Jones and this is his perspective and he leans so far right that it's surprising that he's not on the other side of the world. But,
No, he's
that he's, fallen off of the face of the map and
might have. He's
laying sideways.
mostly concerned about the frogs turning gay. So
Yeah, exactly. Frogs turning gay. Yeah, that's what he's concerned about. Yeah, exactly. So that's what I'm saying. If you understand the perspective that man's coming from and the way he's talking, then you can better, I think, mentally digest what is being, what you're hearing and what you're being told. And I think that's part of being a very educated consumer of political rhetoric. And the other thing is, and the last thing I want to say about this is simply ask questions. I mean, maybe it's the teacher in me, but I think the most dangerous question, the most poignant question as a libertarian that I can ask anytime I hear any kind of political anything is why? Why?
Yeah.
Like, right now, I'm sitting here thinking, why is North Korea suddenly interested in peace with South Korea? Why? Everyone's patting Trump on the back, and Trump's patting himself
I wanted
on
to
the
talk
back.
to you about this last week, and we never got to it.
All
We
right.
gotta get to it. But you know what we should do? We should take a break, and then we'll talk about North Korea and why Trump deserves his Nobel Peace Prize. And all right, so we'll be back in just a few minutes. We'll play something.
Play something random.
Yeah. No, it doesn't. Apparently, doesn't want to play the song that I want to play. It doesn't like the Beatles. Man. All right.
Oh, this is interesting. What do we got here? Oh. I hope you just didn't blow someone's speakers.
Yeah, right. Oops.
Younger than today. Teach anybody to help in any way.
Yeah. I was trying to look for that one James Bond theme song, but I couldn't remember.
Goldfinger.
Wasn't that one? I'm trying to think of
Be
what
careful,
it was.
Beatles are short songs, minute and a half.
Yeah, no, we got a minute and a half left. Yeah.
It was funny. 60s record producers used to think that the youth couldn't pay attention for more than 90 seconds.
I mean, kind of.
Well, then marijuana became popular. Put the whole album on, man. Sgt. Pepper, man.
I totally do that. We got the Beatles. What was it? Beatles White Album. We found an original copy from Sammy's grandma,
Oh,
and so we got it.
that's
We'll
probably
play
worth
that.
money,
It is worth money, and
Oh.
so we like it and we play it. So
You should play it and digitally record it. Play it one time and digitally record it and then sock it away.
Michael Jackson's family will go after me for that. They own the Beatles.
Yeah, no. But I would.
I mean, you're probably right.
I would digitally record it so you can
So
listen
we're
to
not-
it with all the pops and hisses and everything,
Yeah.
but you won't wear the album down.
Yeah.
Or God
Yeah,
forbid, break it, or chip it, or
Yeah.
scratch it, or.
If we don't pay attention, the cat wants to go sit on the record
Oh
as
God,
it's
yeah.
playing.
Oh yeah, yeah.
So she did that while we had the Prince, the Purple Rain album. We had that playing, and the cat's like, right on it. I'm like, oh, you're gonna bust the record or the needle. Stop. Oh, 10 seconds.
Please help me. I need to get a bathroom break in, damn. Ooh.
Okay. You are listening to Outside the Echo Chamber on Rochester Free Radio, WRFZ 106.3 FM.
And what if they want to listen online?
And if you want to listen online, you can go to rochesterfreeradio.com. We always live stream the shows there. Or
Yeah, what about the people that are too cool to get up this early?
they don't deserve our love.
No?
No. Actually,
I
I'd
think-
probably
I
be
think-
one of those
I
if I
think-
wasn't on the show.
I think our love can be found in a different...
Yes, no, it's outside the echo chamber .show is where we put our shows.
recordings, yes.
Yeah, our recordings. So you can find them there, as well as our YouTube channel. We have them up there as well.
And don't forget we got Larry Sharp up there.
Yes. So we got the Larry Sharp episode. We got
Yeah.
Jim Rosenbeck episodes up on YouTube, but not on the website yet because I'm lazy. And a few more. So we got a bunch up there. If you want to listen to those past episodes, we're getting them up. But all right. So North Korea. You think something smells fishy?
Oh, I know it does. Anytime you get a business deal going on where somebody concedes completely on one side, there's a reason. That's just, it's a basic fact, you know. I mean, if I was going to try to convince you of something that you're pretty much against for the longest time, I'm going to have to give you something to make you flip your position. I'm going to have to give you something of high value, something that you consider so important to you that, or so valuable to you, that you're willing to drop all your issues and everything to flip your position.
Yeah.
That to me tells me that something's hanky. Something really ugly happened for Trump to be able to get that to happen.
Well, I mean, so what I see is that North Korea realizes that with the collapse of their nuclear testing facility, because it did collapse, they no longer have that as viable as a bargaining chip, and I'm betting that their nuclear program is like in big trouble, so they're trying to find a way out. They know they no longer have that, so they're in trouble. They need to open up their economy. They need to do some things to shift their mood around, because it's a tightly controlled fascist country that's economically like starving.
Oh, I thought it was a family-run small business.
Yeah, no, I mean tomato. That's, but so what may end up being and supposedly like it's not happening, but I suspect it will eventually happen, is that the reason why North Korea is willing to deal is not only because of that, but also because they know down the road it's going to a peace deal will open up the opportunity, the conversation to get U.S. forces out of the Korean Peninsula.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. I'm all for peace between the Koreas. Absolutely. I'm absolutely even a bigger fan of getting our troops out of other countries where we've got no business being there anymore.
Yeah.
It's just, so the whole end result of this might be fantastic, but at what price? That's what I want to know. I mean, at what cost does this happen?
Well, I think the cost is that North Korea is nervous, particularly with Trump in office, that the United States would want to wage a war there, right? And that is something that would be costly to Americans and the North Koreans, but especially the North Koreans.
Oh, yeah.
And so he sees, okay, the best way to de-escalate this is to create a situation in which South Korea is going to ask the United States to leave the peninsula. And there'll be calls in the United States, since the war after 70 some odd years is going to be over. Since 1950s, right?
50s, 54, 51 to 54.
So technically the war is still going on. There's an armistice. There's never been a formal peace treaty in that conflict. So that's why, that's the justification for U.S. troops still being there, because it's still an active war zone. So that may be his position. It's like, well, it's probably better if we remove U.S. military from that situation, because that puts him at more of an advantageous position. Just because then he's less worried about attacks, and or if he wanted to do, if North Koreans wanted to do something stupid like attack South Korea, there wouldn't be as immediate of a retaliation, which should worry the South Koreans, and probably does, but they figure if they can open up ties, allow for family exchange, release prisoners, because there's probably a bunch of South Korean prisoners, as well as Americans. 3 Americans got released this week. I know, I see this as...
Do we get our boat back?
The boat?
Yeah, they seized one of our Navy ships a long time ago.
Oh, I don't know.
Yeah, they've been holding it. It was one of our spy ships was off their coast, and they ended up.
Oh,
the
yeah,
Navy
yeah.
seized it, and I think it was like 1964 or something like that. And they've still got it. It's a museum. They have it on display, and it's so funny. I've seen the video. The woman that gives you the tour of the boat, the North Korean woman. She's like, oh yes, imperialistic, capitalistic America was spying on us, but we fought back and we managed to capture one of their spy ships, and they show you all the spy equipment on the ship.
No, why would they?
And it's like, but just the hearing it from their slant, America tried to start a war, but we intervened, and we managed to stop their spying ship, and it's like, yeah, we're not the good guys. People got to get that through their heads. We're not the good guys on a global scale.
Yeah. You just gotta keep in mind that neither are the North Koreans.
Right, but I don't see their ships, parked off of, the coast of California or something, listening into us, and if they are, big deal.
Yeah.
Big deal.
Trying to build I'm sure they have some intelligence operations going on in some capacity.
Everybody does. I mean, I bet you even Luxembourg and Liechtenstein does.
Maybe. Or maybe they don't worry about it because they just worry about having awesome economies and everyone being rich.
Well, Liechtenstein, actually, I found out from my German buddy the other day, and this is going off on a real tangent, but Liechtenstein is like a really libertarian country, but because they have an archduke, the archduke is pretty much like giving the finger to the EU and being like, no, I'm not going to comply with what you're doing. And he's like, if you got a problem with that, I'll leave. If he leaves, he takes 50% of the entire nation's wealth with him.
Huh.
So they have to kiss his rear end. It's so great. It's so great.
Well, now I'll have to look that up. That's fascinating.
Yeah, he's pretty much holding the EU at bay. It's great.
Hilarious. But
I digress.
Yeah. Hard tangent. That's all right.
But on a good note, I am hearing really good things in the media. I'm seeing things about the Sharp and Hollister campaign, and I'm seeing it in the media, and I'm seeing that they're killing it on the internet.
Oh yeah.
And it's the mainstream media that has to catch up.
Well, that's how it goes. That's the interesting part about building grassroots campaigns is that a lot of times, like, the media and the political elite are catching up to where the culture and the people are. Is that a movement gets built and then it gets noticed.
I think that was pretty much proven when that one senator had asked, what is Facebook? Yeah, if you don't know what Facebook is, you have no right of any kind deliberating any laws for our country.
Yeah,
you are just that out of touch.
Oh, sure. There's a lot of folks out of touch, but I mean, it's our job to move them, and it's the Libertarian Party's job to move them, or activists to move whoever, the political elites or people who have power, who can be organized into having power into changing policy.
Now I saw a little poll that showed that Sharp, if it was an online poll, as far as internet goes, but yeah, it showed that if the election was held last week, that Sharp would have been in second place, and he would have beat Nixon and Molinari.
Yeah, no, it's certainly possible, but because we're.
What do you know what's going on with Larry Sharp right now?
Well, I don't want to talk too much about him specifically, but what we did talk last week about getting included in some of those mainstream polls too, and
right.
In the meantime, it's like, well, you got to rely on these internet polls, and people can complain about them being inaccurate, but if that's the case, then well, geez, Sienna and Quinnipiac get on it.
Yes, when is Sienna coming out with their poll?
I don't know, and we don't. The Sharp campaign, I know, doesn't know if they're including him in that poll. But supposedly it was being done like the last 2 weeks or so. They saw Sharp won, so they canceled the poll. And then no, this can't be right.
This can't be right. Nope. Third party what? No. You didn't ask the proper question to the proper dynamics of the population.
Yeah, but no, and it should be an interesting race.
Go find some old crabby men and ask them.
Yeah, but we may have another person from Monroe County running. Apparently, Cheryl D'Onofrio's the county executive is thinking of being the LG candidate.
Yeah, I knew there was a reason why she was trying to promote herself so much on TV over the past few weeks with, having the business come into Henrietta without even talking to the Henrietta people,
I mean, she's on TV anyway. She's the county executive.
No, I hadn't seen her in like a year. I hadn't seen her like on the news in like a year, and all of a sudden like twice, 3 times in 2 weeks.
Yeah.
So, a couple of times over 2 weeks, 3 weeks, and she shows up everywhere, and then all of a sudden, oh yeah, by the way, I think I'm going to try for lieutenant governor. It's like, what? Wait, hold on.
Yeah. No, I mean, obviously, I have my favorite in this race, but I don't think it's.
And who's that?
That'd be Andrew Hollister.
Oh, well, there you go.
Yeah, but
that's a Rochester businessman, isn't
he? Yes. So we may have another person from Rochester, and there's always those rumors going around that Lovely Warren could be the LG candidate for Cuomo. I don't know if it's happening, but. Wouldn't it be funny, though, if we had three of the leading LG candidates all from the Rochester area?
Yeah. That would, when I was driving home from the campaign, I was driving home from the campaign, for the convention in Albany. I was driving with Chris Eads, and I said to him, is that the way Rochester works? It's like every 75, 80, 100 years or so, something like that changes America comes out of Rochester. I mean, Frederick Douglass, Susan B. Anthony, Eastman Kodak. Is this the next wave? Are we actually part of? Is the libertarian movement out of Rochester the next wave? I mean,
well, we'll see. All right.
I mean,
we're out of time.
Is my grandkids going to end up going to the Kevin Wilson Elementary School?
Oh,
is this going to happen?
No. All right. So we're out of time, though, Sean. This has been Outside the Echo Chamber, the Liberty Talk Hour on Rochester Free Radio, WRFZ 106.3 FM. We will be back with the Liberty Talk Hour Outside the Echo Chamber next week at 9 a.m. We will talk to you then.
Yeah, I got to talk to him about getting more time slot. Taking our recorded shows and replaying them. Mention that to him. And I don't see Miss Crum.